We've got a huge, underrated rivalry game on Saturday night. The Sunflower Showdown between number 21 Kansas State and number 25 Kansas. Two teams that overall this year have been playing some pretty dang good football. And now they enter one of the more underrated rivalries within the Big 12, maybe even in the entire country. But how much of a rivalry is it? Kansas State enters this game on a 14-game winning streak over their in-state rivals. Only 2 of those 14 wins have come by one possession. So will Kansas State extend their winning streak in the series to 15, or will Kansas at home finally snap the streak? That is a question that we're going to answer today. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad you could join us today. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, including those expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Do not miss out, guys, on spread picks that are on a 66-35 run right now. That's over 65% against the spread. We're beating out over 80% of the national handicappers. We've been doing so each of the last 5 years. We're offering you our picks for one of the lowest prices in the country for a full year, full 365 days. So it's never too late to sign up for these expert picks. No other handicapper is going to give you that lower price. No other handicapper can guarantee these winnings like we can. No other handicapper has a mark like we have. So go sign up, join our team today, and start winning big with us again over on thegridironexpert.com. So let's take a look at the numbers, right? Let's take a look at the two teams. Kansas State and Kansas, again, historically has been dominated by the Wildcats, but over the last couple of years, really since Lance Leipold has taken over Kansas and made them a little bit more competitive, this rivalry game might start to have a little bit more meaning, might start to be a little bit more competitive. Take a look at the offense. Kansas State, guys, use any adjective you want for Kansas State offensively. Explosive, efficient, balanced, just plain old fun. Chris Kleiman has this offense working perfectly. It's a lot of fun. 453 yards per game, 250 of those coming through the air, 202 on the ground. So again, very, very balanced, very efficient, can score at a very high mark, averaging nearly 39 points per game, ranks 12th in the entire country. Will Howard has been phenomenal, over 2,100 yards, 21 touchdowns, just 8 interceptions. DJ Giddens has been phenomenal, over 850 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns on the year. I mean, this team, guys, is just, again, like a well-oiled machine offensively. And they really kind of saw a turning point after one of their worst offensive performances of the year against Oklahoma State. Since they were held to 21 points against the Cowboys a little over a month ago, they've scored at least 30 points in every single game, and they have won 4 of the last 5 by at least 17 points. So this is a team, guys, that is just, again, firing on all cylinders, playing fantastic football right now, and going to be a very tough offense to stop if you're the Kansas defense. The same can be said, though, for Kansas State's defense against this Kansas offense. That is, of course, if Jason Bean will play for the Jayhawks. You can't help but wonder, would this season look any different right now for Kansas if Jalen Daniels had never gotten hurt? The star quarterback did announce that he will return to Kansas next season, so that's one thing to have if you're a Jayhawks fan, but you can't help but wonder, if Jalen Daniels plays a full, healthy season, are they still undefeated? Or are they undefeated? Do they beat Texas? Do they beat Oklahoma State? They probably do beat Texas Tech last week. Are they, 9-1, 8-2? Who knows what it could be? But right now, health for Kansas is the key. Jalen Daniels more than likely not going to play. Jason Bean injured last week against Texas Tech. He's thrown for over 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns on the year, but he left that game against the Red Raiders with a head injury. So will he be back? We believe he probably will be. If he is, his Kansas offense should operate relatively smooth. If he's not, it's going to be Cole Ballard, who last week in replacement of Bean went 9 for 20, 124 yards and an interception. Bottom line is, whoever's a quarterback, right, the run game is what's going to be so key for Kansas. You want Jason Bean in there, a guy who does add an extra element to the passing game. He's going to be a better quarterback than Cole Ballard, who's more experienced than Cole Ballard. But the running game is so important for the Jayhawks. They're averaging nearly 200 rushing yards per game. Devin Neal, one of the best running backs in the conference, 965 yards, 10 touchdowns on the year. You got Daniel Henshaw in there as well, over 550 rushing yards. Again, Kansas, though, bottom line is if they want to win this game, if they want to keep winning, they have to have productive days on the ground. Just look at the numbers here. They were held to under 125 rushing yards against Texas, and Oklahoma State. Both of those losses for the Jayhawks. They did have 207 rushing yards against Texas Tech, but again, they lost their quarterback early in the game and still struggled in short yardage situations. They were stuffed on the goal line earlier in the game. They failed to score inside the 5-yard line late in the fourth quarter. If they scored there, they probably win the game. Instead, they were held to a field goal, and Texas Tech ended up getting the game winner just a few seconds later. So, again, the run game so important for Kansas, which is why Kansas State, defensively, the key for them, stop the run. Bottom line, stop the run. That's all you got to do. Sell out on the run. And Chris Kleiman is a defensive mastermind. We know that he's so good, has been so good with Kansas State since he arrived in Manhattan from North Dakota State. This is a team that's only allowing 119 rushing yards per game and has allowed over 125, which to me is the key number entering this game. If you're Kansas, at least get a $125. Kansas State has allowed over that just twice in the last 5 games. They've allowed over 125 rushing yards just twice in the last 5 games. This is a Wildcats defense that is very tough up front. They have forced 17 turnovers. 7 of those were fumbles. Kansas has turned the ball over 6 times in the last 4 games. So holding onto the ball is going to be key. If you give Kansas State multiple extra opportunities on offense, they're going to convert off of that. No doubt about it. So if you're Kansas, you got to take care of the ball. You got to find a way to get the run game going. You've got to run for at least 125 yards in this game. Question is, will Kansas State allow that? Because they've been very stingy over the last month or so. Kansas, defensively. Again, we know that's not their biggest strength, right? They were horrible last year. They've definitely taken a major step forward this year. There's definitely been defensive improvement from 2022 to 2023. But they still only rank 76 overall. They're still just kind of middle of the pack in the entire country. They're giving up over 225 passing yards per game and 161 rushing yards per game. And that's a concerning number. That is a concerning number. They've a 90th ranked rushing defense in the entire country. I would say there's concerns there if you're Kansas, especially facing a Kansas State team that we know can run the ball. That averages over 200 rushing yards per game. That's a concern there. But this Jayhawks defense, guys, still has 24 sacks on the year. They have forced 14 turnovers. They have found the way to create turnovers and give their offense extra chances, which is what they're going to need to do here, especially if the offense is kind of out of whack, depending on the health and the status of their quarterbacks. Bottom line is, if you are Kansas, you cannot allow a team to come in here and be balanced, right? You've got to find a way to slow down Kansas State and say, hey, we're going to take away the run and force Will Howard to do everything, or vice versa. We're going to shut down Will Howard and force DJ Giddens in the run game to do everything. But if you're Kansas, you can't allow the Wildcats to come into your house and remain as balanced offensively as they've been all year long. So a lot at stake here in this game, guys. Neither team probably still in the hunt for the Big 12 championship game. I mean, crazy things have happened. This conference is truly wide open. But this is an opportunity for the winner of this to get their 8th win of the year. It's an opportunity for Kansas at home to end this 14-game losing streak to their in-state rivals. It's an opportunity for Kansas State to extend it to 15, to continue to own bragging rights over the entire state. So what is going to happen on Saturday night? For me, I feel like I would be crazy to pick against Kansas State. I feel like I'd be crazy to pick against the Wildcats. This team, guys, is playing phenomenal football. And while they are a 7-3 team, they are much better than that record shows. They probably should have beat Texas. They lost to Missouri on a, 61-yard field goal as time expired. This team is just a few plays away from being 9-1, maybe even undefeated if you go back and look at the Oklahoma State game. A lot of missed opportunities there. So this Kansas State team is really good. They're playing really good football over the last month or so. I look at Kansas. They're a great team as well. I don't think they can win this game solely on the ground. I do worry about their quarterback situation, whether it's Cole Ballard, whether it's Jason Bean. Kansas State's got the advantage at quarterback. In-state rivalry game, going to be a great crowd on both sides. Kansas State, they're going to have a lot of their fan base there. Give me the Wildcats to win this game, winning 15 straight, make it 15 straight over the Jayhawks, and they keep their possible slim Big 12 title hopes alive as they more than likely create a 4-way tie for second place. There is one right now. They stay in the mix. It's going to be a wild finish over these next few weeks in the wild Big 12, but Kansas State gets to 8-3 while the Jayhawks drop to 7-4. But still, another winning year, or at least a winning season regardless for Lance Leipold and the Jayhawks. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, including those expert picks. 66-35 run against a spread that's over 65%. Do not miss out on that offer. If you want to win big, this is the place for you. Again, go sign up. The link down in the description below over on the gridironexpert.com. And once again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.